When Daniel was 11, he and his 3 friends, Luke, Corey, and Mason, spent nearly every summer day exploring. They'd fish, climb trees, build forts, typical small-town stuff. But one afternoon, they discovered something new. A sprawling cornfield they swore hadn't been there before. The stalks were impossibly tall, taller than any grown man, and the rows seemed to stretch endlessly. The kids ran through it, playing hide and seek until the sun went down. It became their place, their secret world. But when harvest season came, the farmer cleared everything and the boys were crushed. Daniel said it felt like losing a part of his childhood. A year later, Daniel's mother mentioned something strange. The field hadn't been planted that season. Apparently, the farmer who owned it only grew crops every other year. That summer was long and dull, until one afternoon, Daniel rode past the area alone and froze. The corn was back, thick green and alive again. He didn't tell his mom. He didn't even call his friends. Something in his mind whispered for him to come closer. He dropped his bike and stepped into the field. That's when he saw movement between the rows. Fast, darting shapes that vanished the moment he turned his head. And then, a voice. "Hey, Danny." It was Luke, but something about him was off. His skin looked pale, almost gray, and his eyes hungry. Luke smiled strangely and said, "Come with me. I found something incredible." Luke dragged Daniel through the corn until they reached a small clearing. In the center was a mound of earth, and something white sticking out. It was a bone, human-sized. Luke grinned. "I found it yesterday," he said. "It's still warm." Daniel recoiled in disgust. "What do you mean warm?" he asked. Luke laughed, a dry, choking sound. "Don't you smell it? It smells alive." That was when Daniel noticed the ground pulsing, like something beneath the soil was breathing. He ran home and tried to forget it. But that night, he woke to the sound of tapping on his window. Luke was standing outside, smiling in the dark. The next night, Daniel convinced his other friends, Corey and Mason, to meet him at the field. He had to prove what he saw was real. They brought flashlights and bikes. Luke was already waiting at the edge of the field, clean, calm, and pretending like nothing was wrong. He suggested a game of hide and seek in the dark. Reluctantly, they agreed. Luke offered to count first. 1, 2, 3, he whispered, lowering himself into the dirt. The others scattered into the corn. After 10 minutes, Daniel and Mason crouched behind a boulder, surrounded by stalks. The air felt thicker, heavier. Mason whispered, "We should go. The road should be right behind us." But it wasn't. No matter how long they walked, the field just kept going. When they turned around, Corey was standing right behind them, but his face wasn't right. His grin was too wide, his breathing too heavy. One by one, the others began to vanish. Mason turned to his right, said something Daniel couldn't hear, and was just gone. Daniel ran through the rows, screaming their names until he tripped over something soft. When he shined his light, his hands were covered in blood. The beam revealed 3 bodies, mangled and twisted like broken dolls. Their faces, his friends. And in the center, crouched low, was Luke. Except it wasn't Luke anymore. Its face peeled back when it smiled. Its body twitched as it chewed on Mason's leg. It looked up and spoke in Luke's voice. "You found me." Daniel ran, heart pounding, as that thing chased after him. Laughing, screaming, "Come back! Eat with me!" He burst out of the field, jumped on his rusted bike, and didn't stop pedaling until he saw the lights of his house. His mother called the police. They found the clearing later that night, blood everywhere for bodies. 3 were identified as his friends. The 4th was a farmer who owned the land. The next year, the property was abandoned. No one ever sowed that field again. But a month ago, Daniel drove by it as an adult. The corn was back, tall, green, alive, and someone was standing at the edge of it, waving. Someone who looked just like Luke. It all started one cloudy Tuesday. Elena received a call from her son's music teacher at Ridgeview Elementary. Her 10-year-old boy, Noah, had been acting strange. The teacher said Noah had torn apart a violin string during class, not broken it, ripped it, while humming a tune that no one recognized. He kept repeating it under his breath again and again, eyes unfocused. When Elena arrived to pick him up, Noah was sitting alone by the door, humming softly. She asked, "What are you singing, honey?" He smiled, that blank, wrong kind of smile, and said, "It's from the man outside." On the ride home, Noah kept humming. The sound seemed to echo through the car, even when he stopped. It wasn't like a song, it was more like a pattern. 3 slow notes, then one sharp one, like a breath between them. Elena tried to distract him, asked about school, lunch, anything, but he didn't answer, just looked at his reflection in the car window and whispered, "He's listening." That night, she woke to the sound of humming through the baby monitor. Noah's room was across the hall, but the tune wasn't coming from his room. It was underneath the floorboards. The next day, Elena noticed Noah sitting by the window, watching the woods behind their house. When she asked what he was doing, he said, "He hums louder when I stop." That night, the humming didn't stop. It crawled through the air vents, slipped beneath doors, and hid in the walls. Even when the TV was on, even when the water ran, it was there. When Elena finally went to check on Noah, he was standing in the corner of his room, face turned toward the wall. His fingers tapped along the rhythm of the tune. And when she called his name, he didn't move. He only said, "He's almost here." Desperate, Elena began recording the sound. She wanted proof, or at least an answer. But when she played the recording back, the humming wasn't the same. It was layered, multiple voices, each slightly off, like a choir of children trapped underwater. She showed the clip to her sister, a sound engineer. Her sister ran an analysis and found something that froze them both. There was a whisper behind the hum. It said clear as day, "He brought me home." That night, everything went silent. No humming, no noise, just still air. Elena walked to Noah's room, afraid to open the door. Inside, the bed was empty. The window was open, and carved into the wooden wall, written in uneven, shaking letters, were the words, "He knows your tune now." She ran outside into the cold, screaming his name, but all she heard from the woods was the humming, faint, familiar, and this time it was herself humming along. If your child ever starts humming a song you don't recognize, don't ask where it came from. Just pray they never finish it.
Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe, like and comment.